So I hope we can see my screen. So please let me know if you can see my screen. So please, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, okay, good. So now we've been able to do what to change this. I don't know if you were able to see when I removed the brackets from this side and then used a particular function from this format called capitalize each word to put it in this format, which is now our data is now what consistent. We also have a particular function here called extract. We also have a particular function here called extract. And what does it do? It helps us extract in terms of, so for example, we have this extract. We can extract text before delimiter. We can extract text after delimiter. Now, what do we get to do? Now, for us to do this, now we, for example, just trying to show what extract can do for us. We have this email here, and we say, okay, we click extract. We want to extract before delimiter. What is serving as our delimiter here? We're saying the @ sign. And now when we press the @ sign, we press OK. Now you see that we've been able to have what email with what John.Smith and what all the names before the delimiter. And also we sorry we also being able to do that, and we can also do what we can also extract after delimiters too. So let me cancel this because I just wanted to show us what we are trying to extract. And while I cancel this, now we also have this where we can do what extract after the delimiter, just to have this email service. Okay, probably email.com, gmail.com, yahoo.com, stuff like that. So Power Query gives us the ability to use some of all these things together in order for us to what in order for us to get what we are intending to get from our data. Now, also from this distribution ID, the fact that we're having the first name and the last name separated, we can also have it to be together in terms of us merging these columns. In terms of what merging these columns, and what are we trying to do? We want to merge this column in order for us to just have full names, which is we click this, hold down shift, click this, and you can see while I click that, the merge columns here in the transform as what as is showing. When I click on the merge columns, now it's going to ask me what do I want to name the column. I want to name the new column I'm going to be having as what full names, full name, and we have it to be full name. And what is the separator? The separator, I just want it to be what? Space. And now when we have this to be space, now you're going to say, okay, okay. Now when you click okay, now you have what? Full name, which is what? John Smith. Voila, I've been able to do what? Make it quite consistent, and easy for us to use. Now that I've been able to do this from this distributor table. Now we can also go to some of these tables that we have here that we need to do what? That we need to work on. So for example, I think I was able to say that we had sales data 22 is not needed for us again because we've appended it to sales and not here. Payment method, we don't need this. Product, I've been able to clean that. Okay, the HR table. Now, the HR table, we have been able to see that we have employee ID and it's not consistent because we need to make sure we remove this EMP and the underscore from it. Now, how do we get to do that? We can split this column by what? We can split by however we want to, whether the number of characters or the number of or whatever. What are we trying to split? How many are we trying to split here? We're trying to split this gender, we're trying to split this date of joining. So then let's start from um the employee ID. Now, how do I do that? From this employee ID, it's easy for me to say, oh, I click on the column and I come to split column. Now, split this column. How do I want to split this column? I say, okay, do I want it by number of character? Do I want it by position? I want it to be by delimiter. What is that delimiter? I can see that instantly it has been able to do what? It has been able to detect the delimiter that is there, and I want it to be leftmost delimiter, and I press OK. And when I press OK, now you'll be able to see that a new column has been formed. And what do we have now? We have employee ID dot one, employee ID dot two. This is not what we want. We want this employee ID, which is this, which is this one. This one, do we need it? No. And how do we get to take it away? Go to your home tab and do what? And remove the column. It's not needed for us. Now, another way we can also get to, you know, um split this is we can say, okay, we want to split this particular date of join into. How do we split it? I come here and I say, oh, split by column. And what do I want to split? I want to split by position. Yes, now I can split by position. But guess what? Now, Power Query will automatically detect how what is where it's starting from and where it's going to end. Now you're saying 0.5. Be wondering how is it 0.5? Now, even for some of us that did done Python, you see that the numbers start from zero, but then it's going to end on that the number there in terms of basis. I was saying it like when you if you can remember, some of these basic maths we did, it's called number basis, where you have base 10, base 5, base 4, this time around is working in what? Basis, because it's starting from what, 0 to 5. But guess how many values is it trying to pick up? It's trying to pick up 4, which is the um um DOJ and the underscore here. Now the reason why it's now 5 is that for each the a particular space is looks like there's a particular space here, because it's saying that, oh, I want to pick up the value, because it has cited that the value before this is this particular number. So it's able to start from what? Zero. It will start from one. And if you see it's expected to say, oh, okay, it's stopping at what? Five. But yeah, it's going to be zero, one, two, three, four. Zero, one, two, three, four. If you get what I'm trying to say. So now, when we look at this now, you're going to see 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, which is the space there. Now, when we press OK, now you see that you have what? The DOJ and the underscore with the space all gone. And instantly, Power Query has been able to detect that this particular column is a what? A date column. And then it's changed the text. Now you type, which is what? Data type. And you can see that it's in a date format. We want to rename it. Now, renaming this date of joining, and we don't need this column. We can what? Remove the column or go to choose column, and so I want to remove this column, which is what I'll click here, and I do what? And I remove the column. Now I remove the column. Now, what else do I want to do again? The gender. Now I want to still split this column. I can split this column by what? By number of characters. Number of characters. Now, how many number of characters do I have there to split? So the number of character I can see there that is disturbing me from getting the real genders is 2. So when I press 2 and it's asking me, is it repeatedly or as far as left as possible, as far as left as possible? That's what I want. And I press OK. And as you can see, I've been able to get what? My gender column, which is having the male, female, and the gender one. I don't need this one. I can always do what? Remove the column and I rename this. So now I rename it to what? Gender, by clicking this away. Now, while I do that, now it's now left for me to say, okay, what more do I want to look at from it? What more do I want to look at from it? Now, if you could remember when we started, I was saying one of some of the project specification was we didn't want to continue with some particular sales for a particular year. Now we didn't want to continue for a particular sale with some particular year. So I go to sales and I'm like, okay, from this sales, um, I go to for a particular year, and aside that, there's a particular product we want to touch. So this HR table is good to go. We have been able to do some cleaning to it, and as we see, we have 100% there. Now, I want to discontinue some products and also take out some particular year. Now, what do? I come to sales, and what do I want to discontinue? I want to discontinue the product called WR3. I want to discontinue this product called WR3. So when I click on this product ID, when I click on this product ID, now I've been able to see that there's a drop down here. I click this drop down and you can see it tells me do what? Filter, because this is me trying to filter and discontinue. So I don't want WR3 to be included in product, and I press OK. Now this is me trying to get, what I want, because that's one of the specification from the owner of whatever I'm working on. Now I've been able to do that, and aside that too, we said we want to discontinue what? We want to discontinue um from 2018. We just want it from 2019 to what? 2022. Now, how do we get to do this? Now, we can come to this particular dates column, and when we come to this particular dates column, we say, okay, I want to filter the date because I've been told that we are to do what? To pick up this date. So when I click on this date now, how do I do that? I come to this filter, and from there, I cannot start clicking all the 2018 because I don't there's no time. So but then Power Query has a better way for me to do what I want to do for me fast, in which I get to come to date filters, and when I go to date filters, I come to consume filter because I have a particular year I want to remove. I have a particular year I want to remove. So how do I remove this? I want a year that is after 2019 and it equals to 2019. Yes, because it said it doesn't want me to have the year 2018 on the data set. So I need to what? Exclude it. Now, how do I do that? I want to start from 2019, obviously from the first day of the year, in the first month. So it is equal to I want the data from that is equal to first of 2019 and data that are after it too. So I come to equals to or is after or equal to, and I enter the value I want to remove, which is what? um 01 01 2019. Now, while I do that, I press OK, and voila, the first date, yeah, I've been able to filter the row. Now you can see that the first date I am having here is 05, which is starting from 2019. So with that, I've been able to do what? Been able to filter this particular role and start from 2019 because it's part of the specification that was given to me to do. So I've been able to answer that. But then, Power Query gives us that ability to still get some information from just this dates column that we have. What if we want to know the month? We want to have a column that has to do with the month. We want to have a column that has to do with the year. Then Power Query gives us the ability to go to add column tab and see a particular function here that is called date. When I click on date, and what do I want to extract? I want to extract the year. What year? Years. And before you know, we have this new column created for us with the years, starting that we have four distinct what year, which is 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022, like that. And after doing that too, we can also do what? We can also take out the month. I want to have the names of the month too, which is me clicking this column and I go to this dates and I say, okay, I want the month. What's the month? I want names of the months. So now when I do that, a new column will be created with what? The names of the month. And how do I go about that? I come here and I see them and I'm saying, okay, now I rename this to be what? Month. And this is year, what as I want it. So now with that, it's easy for me to say, okay, I have been able to get some functions, I've been able to get some information from just that date column. And for me to see what I'm doing, I can move this to this side, can move it can move it to this side. So while I move it, I can move it here. And instead of doing that, I can also use a particular function or a particular button called move here. And I go to this month too. And I say, okay, I want the month too to be close to the year. And I say, oh, move to the what? To the beginning. And it goes to the beginning. And yeah, here's my month. So I can just put it, move it close to the year too. Instead of me trying to just drag around like that. So it's Power Query gives us that ability to be able to make to clean data at ease due to this friendly user interface. And also there are some things we can get from some information. So for example, when we have a particular column and we can want to like get some particular information about what is happening or what we need to get. So for example, in this company too, it's easy for me to go to my HR data and say, okay, what if I want to the HR will obviously have the access to all the information about the employees in the company. So what if I want to know the numbers of years that some particular employees have what spent? What if I want to know that? Now, from this HR table, it's easy for me to say, okay, let me go to my date of joining. Okay, at least from this date of joining, that is when a particular employee joined the team. And I say date of joining, I click this date of joining, and then I say, okay, what do I want to do? I want to figure out the numbers of the years of experience, which is easy for me to determine the years of experience they have, because I'll be able to know when they've joined us from this particular from when they joined the company at that using this particular date of joining. So you have this so experience, do you have this so this is the number of time you spent with us, like that. So when I click date of joining, it's easy for me to click this same particular date, date function, and I click this date function. And what do I click? I click this particular drop down, and when the drop down column, I click this age. Now, when I click this age, now I'm going to be having a date of joining. Now, but the reason why you see that it changed to date of joining instantly is because I am transforming it instantly, but I'm not supposed to transform it like that because I might still need that column. So it is important for you to know the tab you find yourself. It is very important. So now I'm actually supposed to add another column for me to know the number years of experience. Now, thanks to Power Query, it helps us do that. So I unclick this, and now I go to what? Add column. Now, when I go to add column, I can now say, okay, I want to get the number of experience. I click date, I click age. Now, a new column will be added. Now, as you can see, and now when this new column has been added, it is now in terms of days, hours, minutes, and what? And year. And what am I trying to find? I said I want to find what? Years they have spent with us. So when I click on this particular age, this thing, I come to this duration. I change the duration to be what? Total years. I want it to be in forms of years. And now I'm having 9 point this. This is me having that duration that was in days and minutes, hours, and seconds. Now to be in terms of years. Now I cannot have this to just be in decimal forms like this. Now I can now come to this drop down and say, sorry, I can now come to this drop down here and click and say I want it to be in the form of whole number. And when I click whole number now, it's easy for me to understand and easy for me to know that, oh, this person has spent how many years in this company? 10 years. This person has spent how many years? 8 years. This person has spent what, 11 years. Now I can easily name this column and say, oh, this is the what? Years of experience they have. The years of what? Experience. Now, when I do this now, I say, okay, total years of experience. Now I have this to be total years of experience. I tend to avoid spaces so that I won't get to start having issues like that. So now while I do that, I've been able to do what? I've been able to have their total years. So when somebody wants to, know when this how many years this person has joined this company, how many years is he or she using, he can use this. If I want to promote based on year, I can also do this too. So, but then it is very, very important that the date function itself has a lot it can do for us where we know what we want to extract and get from it using Power Query engine. Now, aside that too, you could see that from the add column, we were talking about something, that I said we would get to touch a lot of these icons and the ribbons. Now, if you can see, there's something called column from example, that is creating a column from examples. Now, we can create a column from example by saying, okay, what column do I want to create from example? Now, I come to this place and I say, oh, let me use job grade. Like for example, let's try to instead of us having just the job grade, we want to have the grades they have spent too with us, having the grade beside it. So I can click the job grade and say, okay, I want a column from example. And when I have a column from example, I say, okay, now, all right, the first job grade is having 4, and I want to have grade alongside with it. I want to have grade alongside with it. And I say, okay, great. Now, while I do that, I press enter and sorry, this is not, I think I've made an error. Sorry. So now I want to create a column from example, column from selection. I'm sorry, I clicked all columns. So this drop down is very, very important. So from selection, now I've clicked the job grade. So now it is going to work in terms of the job grade for me. So I want to add grade. So I say, oh, is going to be what? 4 grade, which is going to be renamed as the employee grade. So it's going to be, let's say, like grade 4. Grade 4. So I say grade, and I put 4. I press enter, and it's saying, oh, grade 4, oh, grade 5, grade 4, and a yes, column from example, and I press OK. And from there, I've been able to create a new column from an example, which I can now say, oh, this is the employee's grade. Uh, so some people, you see them most times, they say, okay, I'm in grade this, I'm in grade that, I'm in level this, I'm in level that. So now this is employees. Sorry, it's supposed to be in lowercase. I press enter. Now, after doing that too, I can also get to do some other stuff from, from column from example, but because of our time, I want to move. Now, aside that too, there's a way we can use conditional columns. Conditional columns. For example, what if I want to know, you know, what if I want to know how far an employee is staying from their house to the office? How far is that? Do I want to say, okay, this person is staying close or this person is staying far? Is I can create a new column from using conditional column to determine that, whether I need to know whether this person is staying far from the office, or this person is staying close to the office. So what do I do when I click um this particular column, which is distant from home, and I come to conditional column? What am I trying to do now? I want to name this column to be called what? Distance status. The distance status. And now, since I've named it as its status, I want to use what column name is asking me. The column name I want to use now is going to be what? This distance from home. And what am I trying to do now? I want it to be if it is greater than or equal to. So I need to know for those that are staying far, and for those that are staying what? That are staying near. For those that are doing what? Staying far, that are staying what? Near. So for example, I've been given a fixed value that says, okay, if the distance from home of somebody is what? Is greater than 10 or equal to 10, I need to say this person is doing what? Staying far. Else, the person is staying what? Closed. Because the boss says, some of you come late, and you are saying it's because you are staying far from the house. Okay, now we'll get to know those that are staying far from the house. And how do I get to know those that are staying far from the house? By getting to calculate how far and how close they are based on the particular value that we can give, in order for them to say, okay, yes, I'm staying far, I'm staying close. So now I can say if it is greater than or equal to what? 10. What do I do? I say what? S- Stay far. And if else, I say what? Stay close. And I press OK. Now, with that, you can see we've been able to know those that are staying what? Staying far, and that are staying close to the office. Now, with this, it's easy for us to what? Monitor those that are doing what? That are coming late to the office, that are coming um, early to the office, and know why they are having to come late and come early to the office. And from this, for these two, um, this age, we don't need this age one, we need to remove it. It's not needed. Remove the column, because I've been able to get what we want to get. So Power Query gives us a lot, and a lot of um enough power to be able to do whatever we want to do to our data. And with that, I think we have been able to touch some of the things we need to that we would consistently be using and touching to, like, clean our data and be able to, like, make our data consistent, make sure it is valid, and make sure there's a form of uniformity in it. So with this, I would say that we have been able to touch and be able to use Power Query to a particular to the particular form that we can say that yes, Power Query can help us, do our cleaning based on whatever, based on the icons it have here, and we can say our data is ready to go for visualization. Our data is ready to go for visualization. So with that, I'll be ending the practical aspect of this cleaning for Power Query. And what else do I need to do after doing all this? While I've done this now, I've checked, I've been able to clean all this, I've been able to, you know, do them the way I want. I come back to my home here and say close and apply, close and apply. So while I close and apply, it's easy for me to now say I wait for my Power BI interface to do what? To load, and voila, I have my data all set for visualization. I have my data all set for visualization. So those are quite the, some important thing and some important icons that I've been able to touch practically. Power Query still has a lot more it can do with those icons it has on its tabs, that it helps us to do what? To make sure we get to clean our data and, make it ready for visualization and make it ready for visualization. Now, before we go to the question aspect, there's the last section I'm supposed to touch, which is going to be in a PowerPoint format, which I would be displaying as soon as now. So, which I'm supposed to talk about, because literally, this is literally what we're supposed to really, really talk about today. But I have to make sure I get to, like, touch more of the Power Query because we're not able to finish up that day. So now, some Power BI features. Power BI features like slicers and filters. I'm sure while we were, doing the visualization, the tutor that took us for visualization would have touched some of these things that what slicers and filters help us do. It allows us to know, it allows users to filter data and report interactively. From this diagram, you can see here, you can see how the slicer is being clicked and the reports are changing based on the individual that was clicked. And what does slicer do for us? It's, the visual filters that appears on the reports, on the report Canva. It allows quick selection of specific data. So I want to know what a particular, from that data we were cleaning now on Power Query, if I want to know what a particular distributor, the amount of, sales we've had from a particular distributor, it's easy for me to just put their names on a slicer, just like I have here with district manager, and I say, oh, Mr. Yefeso, and I get to know what he has done, after creating my reports. And also, the examples we can have them in terms of drop down, checkbox, and date range. We also have filter. What a filter does: filter is applied at various levels in terms of visuals, page, reports, drill down, can be hidden from end users, yeah, which I will get to show us too on the Power BI interface. Provide more advanced filtering options, and you can see it here from this diagram here. This is where the filter pane is, where you have when you want to filter on a particular page or you want to filter on the whole page. So this helps us to see what I'm talking about in terms of filter. And there's also four standard types of filters that you create in filter pane. We have the visual filters, we have the page filters, the report filters, the dual true filters. So the visual filters is okay. It applies to a single visual on a report page. And you see the visual level filter when you select the visual on the report Canva. Even if you can't edit your report, you can select the visual and filter it. Page filter applies to all the visuals on the report page. Report filters applies to all the pages in the report. Drill through filter. We drill through in Power BI service and Power BI desktop. You create a destination report page that focus on a specific entity, such as a supplier. So, for example, I have that particular data set I was cleaning with Power Query, and I want to know what each distributors are doing. So I can have my general report. Maybe I have a general report I've created. Then drill through filter helps me do what? Helps me drill down to a particular. So if I want to drill through to a particular distributor, a new page will show me with all the information about that distributor in terms of the sales that is coming in from them, in terms of the location, in terms of how anything I need to know about that particular distributor, because due through filter will be able to help me do what? Get that specific entity. Now, what are the key benefits? It enhances enhances interactivity, simplify data exploration, improve report performance by limiting the displayed data. Yes, this is what I mean by due through. Like I said, so you say it's it navigate from one page, report page to another with what? With context. So if you could see, I was saying distributor ID. So for example, I want to know the distributor, I want to know about the particular distributor. I've been able to give it what a particular content for it to navigate through. And that's me, right clicking on a particular chart, which is what you can see here. You can see the due through and due through and having some icons that I want you to go and do. So it uses you right click on the data point to access more detailed information. Example, due through from a sales summary to a customer detail, a particular sales summary to a customer detail. So, for example, you have a dashboard, and you were trying to, how do we get to create those dashboards? We would have different reports. We've created different reports. For example, I created an HR page and I created a sales page, and I want to create a dashboard that will give me that I will just pick up important visuals from both of them into a new page. So, for example, the sales forecast we have for the 2 years, put it there, number of employees from the HR department, um, the distributor sales based on their location. I just pick them and I'm like, okay, I want to have them on the dashboard. So I can just, after creating those pages, I create a dashboard which is having the summary of what everything I have gotten from the important things I have gotten from the sales page and the HR page. So we also have drill through. Drill through is coming from, you move from a higher level of the data to a more granular level. So, for example, you look at this now, and for when you click on a drill through, it takes it down to a particular month, May. You could see we have the months April, May, June, July. Now I want to focus on May. When I click on drill down, it take it down to the number of days that are present in May. So, for example, in a particular day in May, we're able to make more than $20,000, which is what is showing here in that's May 12th. May 12th, I was able to drill down and say, oh, May 12th. So that was where we had more than $20,000 dollars from sales. But if you look at every one of them, they are very, very low. So that means that day must have been a particular day for us that we maybe did something different or things were just go. So drill down help us takes from the yearly sales to quarterly sales, then to monthly sales. And we also have bookmarks and buttons where we have, bookmarks save views of a report page, capture the current state of visuals, filter and selection. So what do you use it for? You can use to create multiple views of the same data. And when we have button is quite interactive. It helps us, to be able to interact with pages in either in terms of page navigation or in terms of bookmarks or in terms of whatever we want to do. So you can see the actions here. So what do we use as button? We can use text, we can use image, we can use icon, we can use shapes. Most times we get to use I'll get to show us on our Power BI page. So also, I'm supposed to talk about publishing, to Power BI service. When you want to publish, you click on publish in your Power BI, select the workspace in the Power BI service, and you wait for upload. And most of the time, publishing to a Power BI service requires you having some important emails in terms of maybe work email or work Gmails or access to a particular email that you can use to be able to access Power BI service, probably at workspace or stuff like that. So what are the key points? It allows sharing reports beyond your local machine. It enables access to additional features like schedule refresh. It facilitates collaboration and sharing. When we say collaboration and share, we're sharing methods, direct sharing with specific users, publishing to workspace where everybody gets to work together, generating shareable links for them to access it too. And collaborative features are saying comments, you can add notes directly on a report element, yes. Subscription, you can schedule regular report deliveries, alerts, and you can set up notifications for data changes. And the conclusion says that these features enhances the power of your Power BI reports. And what does it do? Slicers, filters, drill functionalities improve data exploration, bookmarks and buttons create interactive, user-friendly reports. Publishing and sharing features enable widespread access to insights. Mastering these tools will significantly boost your data analysis capability. So from that, we have an assignment, and the slide will be sent to the group, to this particular slide. The former slide, we have an assignment there too, which we get to just to do too. So now, looking at some of the things we just discussed on our Power BI. So, for example, I said, look at that of the filter pane. We have the filter pane here, which is that of this, where we want to filter on this page. We have the data field, where we had it when they mean data field. So, for example, you are saying you want to, come to that of the sales, and you're saying, oh, I want to I have the distributor, I have the distributor ID here. Okay, so I want to say, oh, what if I want to filter based on a particular distributor? So it's easy for me to do that and use because I will just get to pick it as a visual and I can now start saying I want to filter. So, like I said, the filtering is whether we want to filter on a particular page or we want to filter on all pages that we have created. So aside that too, I spoke about button, when we insert buttons, and if you look at it, we have it here. These are the buttons, and the buttons are in terms of left arrows, right arrows, set back, like that, where we can do apply that. And in terms of slicers, so we have slicers here, which part of the visualization, and like I said, is I'm very sure the tutors that took us in terms of visualization, and the rest have spoken about this, but just talk a little more about it. And like I said, we'll be looking at the assignment that is on the slide, and also a mini project will be dropped on the group, and instructions on how we should go about them too will be dropped on the group too for us to follow through and do. So it's expected of us to do it, and when we have questions or we find it difficult to like move around, just drop it on the group, and we would follow